Okay, I'm ready to keep building out my dungeon here, and the first thing I want to do in this video is make a light fixture. So I have these couple point lights in the scene here, but you can see the light just comes out of nowhere. There's no fixture or anything on the wall here. So I'm just going to hop over to Blender real quick and make something up. So I'm going to add a plane and go to modeling mode, and I'll just scale this SY, and E to extrude, Control B to bevel, and I'll press C to clamp. And then I'm just going to scroll up on my mouse wheel here, make about 3 segments. And I'm going to grab my face select tool, grab the front face here. I'll press Shift D to duplicate, press Escape, and X to scale it this way, and SY to scale a little bit this way, GX and move it up here, and E to extrude it out, and Control B to bevel that face. And now I'm going to go to add a cylinder, rotate RY 90, S.1, and GZ, and I'm going to go SX to scale it this way, and maybe S, just freeform scale a little more, GZ to center this on this sort of holder piece here. So this is basically going to be my bulb here, and this is the bulb holder, and this is kind of the mount for this fixture. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with that. I'm going to just set up materials here, make a new material called bulb, and we'll assign that. And I'll select this holder part here, new, call this bulb holder, assign, and select the mount here, and I'll just call this mount. Okay. So the last thing I want to do is go to layout mode and press RY90 to rotate this upwards. And I'm also just going to right click on here and go shade smooth, and go to object data properties, normals, auto smooth. And I'm fairly happy with that. So just make sure that all my faces are oriented correctly here. And okay, so my bulb somehow here is flipped, so I'm just going to select just the bulb with L, go to mesh, normals, flip, and there we go, I'm all set. So I'm going to export this as fixture.fbx. Okay, and now back in the engine, I'm going to import that fixture.fbx file. And I'll make sure I have create new materials selected here. So when I import, it's going to make those 3 materials that I set up. And so I'll just set those up real quick here. I'm going to start with mount. And I'm going to set this to kind of a brown color. I'm going for sort of a brassy or a gold kind of look. So I'm going to set that color up. Just hold 1 on the keyboard and click twice here. And I'll plug in one of these constants to metallic and 1 to roughness. And for metallic, I'm going to set this to 1. And for roughness, I'm going to set this to 0.2. And that's kind of the look I'm after there. So I'll apply, close, and I'll open up bulb holder. And for this one, I'm just going to set a very dark gray here, and plug in a 0 into roughness to make it shiny. And I'll apply and close that. And for the bulb material, I want to make an emissive material, so I'll just drag this down to the emissive color. And I want this to be more of a yellow, yellow-orangey kind of color, deep yellow. And I'm also just going to multiply this, so I'm going to drag off here, type asterisk for a multiply node, plug the result there, and I'm going to multiply by maybe 10. Okay, so that'll give that bulb material a bit of a glow in the deep yellow color. And now I'm going to go ahead and make a few prefabs. So what I want to do here actually is I'm just going to grab these meshes. So floor and pillar, round room, square room, and wall. And I need to right click those and go to nanite and enable. And I'm just going to right click here, go to blueprint, actor, and I'm going to make a new actor here called wall section underscore prefab. And I'll open that up, and I'm going to add a static mesh, and we'll call that wall, and I'm going to set the mesh to the wall mesh. And if I recall correctly, I had to scale this up 3 times. And I'm going to add another static mesh here and call it pillar 1. Actually, I'm not going to add a pillar to this section. I'm going to leave it. What I'll do here is add, I'll just leave this free floating for now here. I'm going to add the light fixture. So I'll add static mesh, fixture, and set this to the light fixture. And let's see. That's a little bit large, so I'm going to scale it down here to 0.5, and I'll rotate this, drag it up on the wall here a bit, rotate it 90 degrees, and just find a good spot for this on the wall here. Let's see if we come down a bit. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's not right in the center or anything, but that's okay. Next thing I'm going to do here is make sure I have the fixture selected and add a point light. And for the point light here, it's going to be a child of the fixture. So if I set the location to 0 here, all these axes to 0, now the point light is basically in the position of the fixture. So I just need to drag it forward a bit, and there we go. And by default, our point light is just this small little sphere, so I want to match that shape to the shape of our fixture bulb. So I'm going to first of all set the intensity a bit lower here, maybe 2500. I'm going to change the light color to a yellow color here. And I'm going to change the radius. That can be quite a bit lower. We're going to have a lot of lights, so I'll make that 500. And the source radius, now that's the size of the bulb here, the size of the light. And we want that to be not too much, maybe 5. And the source length here is how long this bulb is going to be. So maybe 50. And so we can see this little wireframe here now that's representing the shape of the light bulb. And it's pretty close here to the shape of my fixture. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to actually make this maybe just a little bit bigger radius. So I've got it at 5. I'm going to set it to 7. Okay. So I'm happy with that, and so now I've got this section of wall and the light fixture and the point light basically set up all together as a collection in this actor, this wall section prefab. And so now I'm going to go ahead and make another prefab. I'm going to close that, right click, make a new blueprint actor, and I'm going to call this round room underscore prefab. Okay, I'll open that up here, and for this one, I'm going to add a static mesh, and I'll call it round room. Set the static mesh to the round room and scale that up by 3 times. And now I'm going to go add and static mesh, and I want to add a pillar. I'm going to call this pillar 1. And accidentally I had round room selected when I made that, so it's made it as a child. So I'm just going to drag this and drop it on the scene root. And for pillar 1, I'll set the static mesh to the pillar mesh. And I'll just drag this out here to one side of the front of the room here. Okay, and then I want to press Control W to duplicate that. Drag it over here to the other side. And I want to select my root here again, so and say Add Static Mesh. I'm going to call this Wall 1 and set the static mesh to Wall. And set the scale to 3. And I'll rotate. I'm going to just drag it over here and rotate this 90 degrees. And drag it over here into the pillar. Okay, and so now I'm just going to press Control W to duplicate that piece of wall, drag this piece over to the other side, and I just need to now add some lights. So I'll select the root again, go Add Static Mesh, call this Fixture 1, set the static mesh to Fixture, and I'll scale it to 0.5. I'll just drag this up here, and I'm going to turn on rotation snapping, rotate this 90 degrees, put it over onto the wall here. And add a point light. Call that point light 1, and we'll set the locations again here to 0. And I'll drag it out here in front of the mount and set those same parameters, 2500 on the intensity, and I'll match this this color of the light later on. For now, I'm just going to set it like this. And the radius was 7 and the length was 50. And that's our fixture setup. So now I can grab Fixture 1 and Point Light 1, Control W to duplicate, and grab both of those, drag them across the way here, rotate, and put this on this wall here. And now I'm going to Control W to duplicate those again, grab them and drag them over to this wall. We'll rotate by 90 degrees and place this maybe here. And Control W to duplicate that, and grab those and just drag them to this other wall over here. Okay, so one more thing I'm going to do here is add another pillar on the edges of these sections. So I'll grab this pillar, Control W, and drag it over here. And then Control W and drag that over here. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm actually just going to grab both of these end pillars and pull them forward a hair. And that's pretty much my prefab for the round room. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and quickly set up the square room in pretty much the exact same way. Okay, so I've set up my prefabs now. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and delete all of the single meshes that I pulled out here in the last video. I'll just grab them up here in the outliner, grab all these pillars and the point lights, round room, square room, and all these walls, and delete. Okay, so I've got just the floor, the light source, which we're using just for ourselves to see, and I'm going to turn that up a bit here. Just turn it up to 5, and I'm just going to set this rotation to 0, just put it directly overhead here. Let's see here. That didn't work. I think one of these has to be 180. Okay, so for now I'm just going to pull out some prefabs and start building out some of my dungeon here. So I'll start with maybe a round room prefab like this, and just put it on maybe the angle a bit. And I'll pull out some wall sections. Make sure I've got my light facing the right way here. Okay, and so I'm just going to go ahead and build something out here. I'll speed up the video here so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with the basic outline layout of the dungeon here. I'm just going to check it out in play mode to see the lighting. Okay, so it's really dark, and that's okay. This is sort of our exit point here, and let's see here. Come through here. Oh no, that was a room, and room there. Yeah, this is our large open area here. So it's also pretty dark here because the lights from the walls here just don't have enough reach to light up this area. So what I'm going to do here is actually just adjust my post-process volume. So I'm going to hit escape here, select my post-process volume, search for brightness here, and I'm going to change my min and max brightness. I'm going to just put the max brightness here to 2 for a second and hit play. And that didn't really help a whole lot. I was hoping to get a bit more light from exposure there. So it's not bad. It's near the aesthetic that I'm going for. I'm just going to try to brighten things up a little bit here. Okay, I'm a little bit happier with that, but I'm just going to do one more thing here. And I'm just going to add some point lights in these open areas. And I'm going to set the intensity here a little bit lower. This one is now in what's this, candela or something. So it's 8. I'm going to change this to maybe 4, and the light color to that yellow color. And let's take a look here. That didn't add a whole lot of light. I'm going to increase that back to an intensity of 8, and we'll take a look at that. Not bad. Let's just take this and move it over a little bit here. And I'm going to set the attenuation radius to 1500. So it'll affect a little bit bigger area. Okay. So I'm happy with that. It's not perfect, but it'll work for now. And so I'm going to also add another light in this large area that gets a little bit dark as well. I'll just take this light I've got here, point light, Control W, and we'll move it over here. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and add some details, and I'm going to add some decals, as far as maybe some blood spatters on the walls of the dungeon here. And I'm also going to add some props, and I'm just going to get some pre-made props from Quixel Megascans. So what I'm going to do here is go just right click in my content browser, go to add Quixel content, and that's going to open up my bridge plugin here. So I'm going to go to 3D assets, and I want to find some, let's look under, let's see, props. I'm trying to add some stuff that goes with the dungeon theme here. So I want to look for maybe something like this jug thing here. We'll milk churn. I'll grab this here and just have to sign in. Okay. Okay, and I'm just going to select the nanite quality mesh here, since I'm using Unreal Engine 5, and I'll download that. Okay, and I'll add this to the project. And a couple more things here. I'm going to grab maybe this old wooden chest. Okay, previously downloaded, so I can just add this. And what else? I want to get maybe, let's see, I'll just search here for sandbags. There we go. This pile of sandbags I thought was a good addition, so I'll add that. And I've also got a table. There it is, this wooden table. I'm going to add that. Okay, so I'm going to close the bridge here and start putting in some of these props. So what I'll do here is I'll start with this open area here, I guess, and I'm just going to go to the sandbags, and I'm going to drag out a sandbag pile into the scene here, and I'll scale this up a little bit, maybe 3 times. And just kind of put that over here in the corner. And I don't want that intersecting the wall, so move it away a little bit. I'm going to reuse the same prop a couple times, so I'm going to also put some sandbags maybe in one of these rooms here. All right, and I'm going to, here maybe I'll put one more pile here, over here. All right, now I'm going to grab the wooden table here, and I want to put that table kind of in the open here, and I'll scale that up as well. And I'm going to put another table over here, closer to the wall. And let's add some rusty jugs around here. Okay, and so you get the idea, and you can spend a bunch of time placing little props all over the scene, kind of thing, right? And so one more thing I'm going to add here is some blood spatters on the wall here and there. So I'm just going to go to my dungeon parts folder here, and actually I'm going to go to the materials folder and right click, make a new folder called blood spatter. And I'm just going to drag in here from, also from Quixel Megascans, I've got this blood spatter brush. Right click, create a material, and I'm going to open this up, and I'll set the material type here to a deferred decal and translucent blend mode. And I'll take the RGB input, multiply, and plug that to the base color. Pull out a new vector 3 here, and set this to like a dark red. And I also need to plug in the RGB to the opacity pin. And there's our blood spatter decal. So now I can drag this decal into the scene and splatter the walls up some here. Let's grab one here, and I'll have to make sure to rotate this the correct way. So I think it's going to be 90 in the X and 0 in the Y. And that's probably too large. I'm just going to downsize this here, 128 by 128. And I'll just try to rotate this a bit here. E, and let's see. Let's move it over a bit here. Okay, so that's pretty much the blood spatter there. And let's see if I move that down here a bit. I can drag this a bunch of places all over. I can spatter up the wall over here, over there. And you could use different variations as well of brushes so that they don't all look the same. I'm not spending a whole lot of time on this. Just kind of going through this quickly so I can get on to the next part of building this game. So I'll just set up a couple of these and pretty much be done with it for now. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this for now, and I'm going to pretty much wrap this up for this video. And the next video, we're going to look at putting a third-person character into the dungeon, and so we'll be able to navigate around the dungeon as our character who is trying to escape. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.